Folks, I'm going to do something that the media doesn't really do very often. That's apologize. This morning, my voice is just a little bit hoarse as we're nearing the end of an election campaign here in Canada. And let me tell you something, folks. You know, it's just amazing to watch the media in action, trying to convince people of something. That the facts that Stuart likes to talk about, the Walter Cronkites that he likes to bring up. It just amazes me how the media continues to play this silly game. And over the last couple of days, we've had a few more examples of what is important to the media, what they want to focus on, what they're really doing. Came out again this week with the Pope's passing. The other things. We're going to dive in today to some of those little stories and just once again show you why traditional media is dead. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Salton. He is Stuart Brisgell. I apologize for the little bit of a tiredness. It's been a run for 5 weeks. Get ready, folks, because we're back for another unedited, unfiltered, uncensored, and yes, as usual, thoroughly unapologetic version of the Rant Network. We cover everything from the latest news, pop culture, and so much more. Like I said, unedited. This is all about quirks of modern life, and really, we poke at the things that you really need to start waking up to. Because this world, people are trying to play us like marionettes. No, we need to push back. Because in these honest opinions, folks, that we bring out, these diverse perspectives, that's what emerges. So we want to make you think, laugh, and speak to your friends and kind of question what the heck is going on in society. So sit back, folks, as today we go into another version of the Rant Network where we pick on the media, the so-called voice of the people, the voice of reason, Stuart, the voice of honesty.
Okay, wow, I don't know how to take this over, but let me just share a little screen. The media, I want to thank the New York Times and give them credit where credit is due on looks like photoshopping yet another picture or carving out the filet mignon of the cow and forgetting that there's any other part of the cow that exists. Because the cow of the Democratic Party would have you believe that President Trump defiled the Catholic Church by not taking the long-time standing wear a black suit recommended and showing up in a blue suit. Now, look at this picture, David.
Stuart, I don't know about you, but I've been to many funerals, and last I checked, black is not the only color you should wear at a funeral. You can wear
very
yellow,
good, very good point. Very good point. Now, if you looked at this picture long enough, you would see it's all a sea of black. And the media would have you believe something that's not, kind of like David Copperfield. Remember that guy, David Copperfield?
Where's the jet? Where's the jet? Where's the jet?
Disappeared.
The Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty disappeared. Bam! Now take a look at the whole picture.
I see blue.
The blinders off, just removing them a little bit. Look at all the other dignitaries wearing blue. It is absolutely mind-boggling. And there's nothing that we can do about this. And the reason why people are cutting the cord and diving into more podcasts, because we're the ones who seem to be showing the whole picture. And this one I got to attribute to, so I give credit and don't get in trouble. Again, we always get in trouble here at the Rant Network because we constantly want to give everything. This is thanks to Yahoo and Yahoo alone. But again, if I go over and over and over again at these different pictures, you'll see that it is a sea of black, but it's not. It's smoke and mirrors. David, we've been doing this now 5 years. And it seems that at every turn that we talk in the green room, let's find something else that isn't just so obvious. Let's find something that's obtuse. Let's find something where the media actually got it right. You want to know something, David? Other than 5 o'clock in the morning, when CNN said President Donald J. Trump is the new president of the United States, I think CNN has gotten everything wrong before. and now after. I just don't get it. MSNBC, the New York Times, what is their editors thinking? I mean, we understand that they're hurting for money, that media dollars and being spent on their platforms is diminishing, that the World Wide Web, so now they have to pick on Google for being a juggernaut and excluding everyone else from its advertising campaigns. But here we are, plain as day. Me wearing white, you wearing black. Isn't that kind of ironic?
No, I guess not.
We are the definition of a black and white cookie today. But David, we're agreeing. We're agreeing on this topic. I believe Walter Cronkate's turning over in his grave. I had to do it.
I know you do, because you bring back Walter Cronkite. But Stuart, I'll give you another example of the media's fallacy. Okay. And I don't know if you guys heard, Bill Owens was the producer of 60 Minutes for quite some time. And he quit last week in a huff and a puff. And he blew everybody's house down because he believed there was a lack of editorial freedom at 60 Minutes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 60 Minutes, the people who couldn't get the hostage interview right, they had to position it again as this anti-Israel, pro-Hamas angles and try to woe is me Palestinians. And Scott Pelley gets on at the last minute to try to say, why? It's because Paramount is in the middle of a merger, needs the Trump approval, and because 60 Minutes has been banging on Gaza, this is what Scott Pelley said, the only stories that he talked about that could be controversial were Gaza and Donald Trump. Because he believed, Scott Pelley really had the audacity to say they didn't have the journalistic freedom, that Bill Owens didn't think there was going to be enough editorial freedom to report the news. Report the news. This is the problem. You haven't reported the news. 60 Minutes continues to be a sham. They continue to play this game of not real news, but editorializing, opinion pieces. They're not magazine journalism was about going in depth, Stuart.
Yep.
That's what magazine journalism was supposed to be. And the news was supposed to be, here are the headlines, here's the brief, and then you got the magazine version, quote unquote, and went into depth. Well, when we saw a few weeks ago, when the Bibas family were murdered, okay, and it came out that the mother and the kids were strangled to death, and then an American hostage was released, all 60 Minutes wanted to focus on was the poor Palestinians. Not the 1,200 dead, but again, accusing Israel of breaking the ceasefire. Again, wrong journalism, lies. But 60 Minutes is claiming that Paramount now is interfering because of the lawsuit with Trump, because of a merger with Trump. So therefore, they're overseeing the editorial to make sure that Trump is okay with it. You want to talk about a misrepresentation? Stuart, it's very simple. Trump wants you to report the news properly. And what are you saying? Oh, I can't. I don't have the freedom to crap on the president of the United States. Therefore, you're strangling my editorial freedom. It doesn't matter about the lies. That is the media, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, the disseminating of incorrect and misleading and inaccurate, grossly inaccurate information goes across every topic, though. It's not just the president of the United States.
I gave one example,
And so, the example spanning political health, right? Health, science, social issues, and how the media got it all wrong. But they didn't get it wrong. They did exactly what they set out to do. And I think that the big misnomer, and those shows were called news magazines that were on TV. It was a news magazine, CBS 60 Minutes. And it really is just a propaganda letter. And I've always been confused how the IRS doesn't sort of earmark this. I hate to use, Donald Trump's news, his thing, fake news, because that completely dismantled the authenticity of any news network globally. The analyzing in this media frenzy and the coverages that they choose to do and how they want to be biased is where this term fake news, and it's resulted in real world consequences. It causes misguided beliefs. It causes people that want to bear arms and shoot people. It really is, in my opinion, the single most easy to pinpoint issue of 2020s, and involving this century as the cause of most civil unrest globally.
Can I ask you a question, my friend? Let me ask you a question,
Sure,
okay?
you just did, and I'll give you
No,
another one just for
no,
that.
no. Okay, but let me ask you a question, okay? Because based on what you just said, because it causes the damage, right? In what world can you go again and again and again and again, say something, get caught, and then go, "Oh, so sorry," and then do it again? Can you name me any career that you could do, anything in life that you could do again and again and again? Because that's what I just described the media. Because look how many times you get a report and then they go, "Well, this was misrepresented," or "Oops, we put the wrong photo," or "Oops, we do it again and again." The Washington Post claimed that 3 American citizens from 2 different families, aged 2, 4, and 7, were deported along with their mothers from a Louisiana facility on Friday. And Marco Rubio had to go on air and said, "Guys, they were deported with their mothers in a due process. The children weren't deported without it." And again, they had to pull the heartstrings because one of them was with stage 4 cancer. And you sit there and you go, if Alam did it, if the Washington Post, which is, we know where they stand, is going to do things like this, and then they go, "Oh, oops, sorry." Who's reading the sorry? And how many times can you do that?
Well, page 9,455, they have the retraction and
Yeah. But
the
still,
error
in
print.
which,
I mean,
could you
it is
imagine?
a joke.
Could you imagine what world, in what career, in what life? Could you imagine you go to your friend and you go, Stuart's hair is green. Oh, oops. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't green. It was really like a white, whatever. Oh, Stuart's wearing a green shirt. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Wait, so it's a white shirt. Whatever. At what point do you stop believing these people? You don't do it in society. You don't do it in career. You don't do it in other places. But media has no problem doing it. As long as you don't get caught, keep doing it. And even if you do get caught, you can apologize in such a backhanded way that no one's going to give a hoot. But the damage is done. It's the old, you remember, Stuart, like when you watch TV, those legal shows, and the lawyer stands up and he says something purposefully, and the other lawyer goes, "I object." And the lawyer goes, "Withdrawn." The same BS game played by the media. They're not
Oh,
withdrawn in this case continues to be a withdrawal from the truth. And the real case is we want to pass on a narrative to people that we think are stupid, that are ill-informed, that don't want to really take the time to do the homework and the research. And they're not entirely wrong. Stuart, I'm sorry. They're not entirely wrong. What they're doing is trying to manipulate people who just are too lazy or unmotivated to really dig and say, "Yeah, you know what? That's not the truth."
and where this is now being exacerbated, which could lead us to another rant in the future, is how all the AI bots
Yeah.
seem to all be left biased,
Oh, yeah.
left meaning, and
We
want to
saw.
rewrite things. And, David, I actually figured out why.
Mhm.
The reason why they always seem to take this left, very soft approach and try and fuzzy over things, because AI is trying to be politically correct.
No, AI is
And
not politically correct. I'm sorry, I disagree with you.
well, no,
It-
it's an
AI
oxymoron.
didn't invent
The
itself,
term,
Stuart.
the
AI
term is
didn't
an
invent
oxymoron.
itself.
The term is an oxymoron, David. What I'm trying to tell you is that the term politically correct is the oxymoron here, because if it's politically correct, we know it's now politically incorrect. It's the same way the Democrats in the United States seem to call the Republican Russian spies, yet everything keeps the lead to them. The Democrats keep saying billionaires and oligarchy, and the Democrats are actually the oligarchy and the billionaires.
Dude,
So
but
it's
you got
really
it. Yeah, we got
kind of
it. No, it's
comical.
more than that. It's more than that, my friend.
Well,
I'm
it's always going
sorry.
to be more than
No,
that,
no,
but
no, 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 no,
this
no.
is an
What I'm
easy
saying
pick.
is, that you bring up the Democrats and the Democrats and the Democrats. I don't give a shit about the Democrats. But if you flush into artificial intelligence, try this, folks. Okay, try this today. Talk about the Joe Biden controversies. Good luck. And then pipe in Donald Trump controversies. you'll see it's a completely different reaction. And you're going to wonder, what is that? If you really do your homework properly and you ask questions to AI, these are jaded responses. Folks, they are not real sourced information like you think it is. And I know people are going to freak out on this. It's like, what are you talking about? It comes from all these databases and whatever. But who manages the databases? Who is managing the coding? Who is managing the, because we've done this, folks. We've done this many times here, and I flushed these videos into AI, and stuff that we've said about the left gets
watered down,
and anything we say about the right gets amped up. Try it, you'll see it yourself. Stuart, listen, we're at the end of the rant again. What is your last word, my friend?
As you play, my last word is it's a new week, guys. All right, get the hell up.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you're in Canada today, it is April the 28th. You only have a handful of hours left. You must vote. This is critical. Again, the media's tried to mess with you for such a long time on who's right and who's wrong and the real issues and the wrong issues. They continue to play this game. You know the real issues, ladies and gentlemen. You know it is not a Trump derangement syndrome in Canada. I'm saying this to Canadians. This is not a vote about Trump. It's a vote about our future as a country and which direction you want to head into. Please do the right thing. Vote today. Every vote counts. You can't wake up tomorrow morning and say, wasn't me. Ladies and gentlemen, the media has tried to play with your head. It's time for you to please do the right thing.